With the upcoming release of one of the most anticipated games of the year, in the 2nd of June, Blizzard is aiming to become the true top dog in the online gaming market. Adding to the huge blockbuster that is World of Warcraft and steady titles as Diablo and StarCraft, Heroes of the Storm aims at overcoming the MOBA market as it keeps redefining the genre. Over 2 million people have played throughout the beta, and the success of the game is almost unanimous. Feeding off Blizzard's franchise successes, heroes in the game are characters from other titles of the company, being Warcraft its top dog. There are still vacancies in the roster, and Warcraft lore is so rich it could clearly provide more solutions to this game. In this video, we named 10 interesting concept heroes members of the HOTS community have pointed out to want in on the Nexus. Number 10. Mailand. Allies of the Night Elves, Triads are the daughters of the demigod Cenarius. They are peaceful by nature and despise violence. However, like Ancients and Night Elves, Triads fight to protect the forest and their allies. They are particularly adept at destroying magic and are immune to its effects. Most Triads remain in the forest, frolicking with the animals, dancing in the rain, and occasionally bringing nature's wrath onto their enemies. Despite the fact that Triads abhor violence, they fought alongside their Night Elf allies in the Third War and continue to protect the forests against the depredations of the Scourge, the Burning Legion, and other intruders. Mailand is an utility support. Her trait incapacitates enemies, and she has Dispel and Magical Defense to bestow upon allies. She can also turn enemies vulnerable, directly heal over time, and indirectly heal while doing damage. She's great to have as a non-healer support in teamfights and can be very effective when she and her allies are outnumbered by enemies. Number 9. Rune Totem. Hamul Rune Totem is an elderly Tauren who knows Narrowlegs from his back. Quite old, he rarely leaves Thunderbluff, but those who have seen his skills know that he is not to be trifled with. Considered by many of his peers as one of the most honorable and just druids in the world, Rune Totem is fervently dedicated to the Cenarian Circle and the protection of nature. When Ballas was endangered, along with his mentor Malfurion Stormrage, he assisted Aizira in protecting the recovering World Tree Nordrassil from the resurgent Ragnaros. Rune Totem is an extremely complex, yet very versatile melee assassin. He can turn into various forms in order to deal damage or to endure. Additionally, he can damage over time by causing enemies to bleed. To bolster his survivability, he can heal himself from time to time and improve his attack efficiency. Hamul is not a necessary addition to a teamfight. Yet, he is very well-rounded and can easily gank opponents or complete PvE objectives due to his versatility. Number 8. Mekkatorque. The highest office in Gnomeregan, High Tinker, has been held by the crafty Gelbin Mekkatorque, who is one of the most renowned inventors ever, for the past 7 to 9 years. However, when the Trogs began their invasion of Gnomeregan, Gelbin was unprepared. At the behest of his top advisor, he ordered that the city be bathed in toxic radiation. Though it has stopped the Trogs' advance, it ultimately killed more gnomes. Now the High Tinker carries the weight of the dead on his shoulders and seeks to avenge his people by reclaiming their lost city. Mekkatorque is a great specialist to deal with PvE content. His trait allows him to assemble mechanical constructs to fight for him, and he can further empower them with an ultimate ability. He can also easily damage enemies in an area, both in circle and straight lines, making him exquisite as a laner. Reliable in a teamfight for damage, his lack of survivability turns him into an unlikely choice against bursty assassins. Number 7. Mannoroth. Known as the Destructor, Mannoroth was the leader of the Pit Lords until Sargeras bent him to his will. Later, he became Archimonde and killed Jaden's favorite lieutenant for his ruthlessness and his bloodthirst in combat. Mannoroth was responsible for a bloodbath during the War of the Ancients, killing thousands of the Kaldorei, the curse of the bloodlust that befell the orcs in Draenor when they were seduced to drink his blood by the corrupted Gul'dan, ending up being slain by Grom Hellscream, chieftain of the Warsong clan. Mannoroth is a stable frontline warrior with a great array of utility. Not only can he slow down enemy targets and reduce their attack power, he can also deal big amounts of bursty area damage, apart from healing himself. Mannoroth is one of the best warriors to have in teamfights due to his utility skills. He can also be a great presence in a lane by damaging minions and structures while withstanding high incoming damage. One of his ultimates allows the team to teleport anywhere in the battlefield using a dark portal. Number 6. Valeera. Valeera Sanguinar was an orphan that made a living as a thief in order to survive. She was eventually caught trying to rob a shaman's talisman, but her mastery of the trade caught the eye of Rhaegar Hearthfury, who would take her as a slave. After Blood-Eye Redfist's death, she would be jailed with Varian Rin and Brawlbear Mantle. Finding out who Varian was, the three depart to Stormwind to restore him to his throne, when a Naga attack triggers Valeera's addiction to arcane magic. An incredibly deadly assassin, Valeera compensates her very low survivability with copious amounts of damage. Capable of becoming stealthed, Valeera poisons her targets, fueling her ultimate skills. She can dispatch a single enemy or deal area damage. Extremely mobile, she is an excellent ganker and a complicated character to master. Even though her low survivability makes her an unreliable addition in most situations, she is incredibly gifted at remaining in shadows and predating killing blows. Number 5. Romi. The Bronze Dragon, also known as Chronormu, appears to humans as a strangely sociable gnome female. Romi was sent to investigate unusual activities performed by the Scourge that started disturbing the timelines. Some years later, she attended a meeting with other dragonflights at the Wormrast Temple under the title of Ambassador of the Bronze Dragonflight. She is present whenever time is meddled with, and played an important part in frustrating both Neltharion and Garrosh's plans. Manipulating time to support her allies, Romi is a very difficult character with a high utility rate. Her trait allows her to heal passively, and she can slow or accelerate targets. At the same time, she can protect allies by teleporting them back in space and reducing their cooldowns. For all this, Romi is one of the most reliable heroes to take into the battlefield. What she lacks in damage, she can easily overcome in utility and healing. Number 4. Valon. A part of the original Eredar Triumvirate, Valon has been the leader of the Draenei since they fled Argus after Sargeras corrupted Kil'jaeden and Archimonde. The Legion chased the Draenei for thousands of years until they settled in Draenor, leaving behind the corruption of their own planet. Years later, Valon would lead the exiles out of the planet, where corrupted orcs would have slain them. The ship crashed into Azurmystyle, where Valon still stands, commanding his people, a renowned prophet and one of the most powerful devout to the Holy Light in Azeroth. Valon is a straightforward support with a high rate of direct healing abilities and low damage output. Passively empowering allies who follow his path of light, Valon can amplify hero statistics for short periods. He can also heal massive amounts in bursts, returning a team to almost full health in the blink of an eye. He can be a solid addition to any situation, even with his low damage, due to the fact that he's quite a simple character. Number 3. Hager. Hager is one of the most interesting characters in Azeroth. Chieftain of the Riverpaw Pack, he has been sowing havoc through the calm Elwyn Forest for generations. Aware of his plots, the Stormwindian army has tried to capture him multiple times, most of them unsuccessful, until General Marcus Jonathan, with the help of High Sorcerer Andromath, managed to incarcerate him in the Stormwind Stockade, where Hager still stands to this day. A simple to master yet damaging warrior, Hager's mix of steadiness and harm can pose a serious threat to any enemy team. Able to heal himself and empowering allies near him, his ability to bleed and weaken enemies he slices can come in handy in multiple situations. Working as a steadfast lane hero, Hager can push back enemies and survive indefinitely with a pocket healer. Number 2. KelThuzad. This former Kirintor mage was responsible for bringing the Plague of Undeath over Lordaeron under the orders of Mal'Ganis and his master Ner'zhul. He was slain by Arthas, who upon merging with the latter and becoming the new Lich King, rose him as a Lich so he could summon Archimonde the Defiler into Azeroth. Leader of the Cult of the Damned, KelThuzad soon proved his loyalty to Arthas, becoming his most trusted friend and protector of Naxxramas, the cursed necropolis. A necromancy master, KelThuzad can summon back minions from the grave. He is able to empower himself through dark magic and can render structures worthless in seconds through a combination of ice spells that also deal lots of damage. However, his survivability is low, which causes him to have a disadvantage around enemies. KelThuzad is a very effective lane pusher, though he may not be the greatest when facing enemy assassins. And in the top of the list with number 1, Gul'dan! The Destroyer of Dreams began as an orc shaman of the Stormreaver clan, later turned into the first orc warlock. Contacted by the possessed Medivh in the First War, Gul'dan aided in opening the dark portal to Azeroth and corrupting the orcish horde. He would fall into a deep coma upon the death of Medivh and would awake on the Second War. His thirst for power led him to locate the Tomb of Sargeras, where he met his demise. He is also responsible for the creation of the necromantic terrors known as Death Knights, and his skull is one of the most powerful magical artifacts known to Azeroth, its location unknown. A highly damaging, yet easy-to-kill assassin, Gul'dan's demonic corruption allows him to surpass the use of mana. Instead, he harms himself to be able to damage enemies. Literally stealing enemy life force, Gul'dan can either burst single target or area-wise in a very short notice. He can also summon the most powerful of demon, Doomlord, which can help the warlock achieve his goals. His high damage output makes him a very reliable assassin against multiple targets. However, his low survivability can pose an issue against bursty opponents. Heroes of the Storm is already one of the best games of its genre, without being fully released. One can only expect the quality to keep improving. Warcraft has a very important place in its growth, for being one of the most played and loved online games for over 10 years now. If you enjoyed this countdown and would like to support me in creating more World of Warcraft and Heroes of the Storm content in the future, please subscribe to my channel using the subscribe button below the video. Feel free to like or dislike this video as you see fit. I know the list is short. Are there more WoW characters you'd like to see in the Nexus? Let me hear about them in the comments below. Thank you all for watching and see you again soon.